it is time to look at the games for this week. So let me take a look at my list here. We're going to go through the games for this week. We're going in chronological order. So starting tomorrow, we have a free-to-play game coming out, which is Stumble Guys. Now, yes, it is sort of a ripoff of Fall Guys, but it is free to play. And on top of it, it is, if you look at the Steam charts, more people are playing Stumble Guys than they're playing Fall Guys. And I do think that I think it's even maybe on mobile, but I'd have to check, but I think it's even on mobile. But it does look like if you're looking for a sort of Falls Guy type experience, you don't want to pay any money whatsoever. I think you've got something here. So let's take a look at Stumble Guys. But it's exactly the concept of Fall Guys. Boom. Not that much to see, but if you're looking for a new free-to-play game, you didn't have a chance to play Fall Guys, or let's say you played Fall Guys, but you never really got into it and you want to give it a second try, I'd look definitely into Stumble Guys. It has a bigger viewership, player base right now, so you might actually get better matches and better things than you did on Fall Guys. Fall Guys sort of fell off pretty hard. Stumble Guys seems to be keeping a bigger player base, so I don't know if it's because the game is better or just if they're marketing it better or whatnot, but there's a bigger player base. So we have that coming out literally tomorrow. It might be out right now. A playthrough of Minami Lane. In my opinion, if you don't care about the optional objectives, you can probably play through the storyline in about 3 hours. If you care about the optional objectives, it'll probably take you more 4 to 5 hours of the story objectives. But there's also a sandbox mode. So once you're done with it, you can go play sandbox. Like you can just go build your street the way you want to, because you're building a street. So basically, yeah, you can replay it as much as you want on sandbox. And that's what I'm testing out to see like how much variation there is between one playthrough or not. I do think that'll maybe be the only downside that'll be keeping it from like a 10 is that I think there isn't that much of an upside to doing multiple like sort of sandbox modes. Okay, so Stumble Guys. Next we have next we're moving to the 21st, which is going to be Wednesday. And we have Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Now we're going to look at the trailer, but I also checked out reviews for the game because they came out today. And we'll watch the trailer first because the game looks beautiful, but apparently gameplay wise, maybe not that great. Alex did a great review over at Switch Corner on the game. If you want to check it out, I recommend checking out the trailer before picking up the game. But nonetheless, let's take a look. It is inspired by Kiki's Delivery Service. It has a very Studio Ghibli art style. Let's take a look. So basically, I had really high hopes for this game. I thought it was gonna. Well, I don't want to diss the game because I haven't played it personally. But by what I read two different reviews. Both of them gave the game around a 5 out of 10, because they said that the game is beautiful, but unfortunately, the mission structure in the game becomes repetitive quickly. Apparently, so the mission structure is not varied enough. And although the world is beautiful, apparently there isn't much warmth to the characters. So the characters don't deliver on the feeling you'd expect from a game like this. And the world is somewhat empty. So, but this is a Kickstarter game, by the way, that they're working on, and theoretically, even though it's releasing in on Steam, it's considered to be an early access. What that means is possibly they're gonna work on it and make it better over time. Yeah, it's a lot of fetch quests. Apparently, it's a lot of repetitive fetch quests, and it makes sense with like Kiki's delivery service. But if you're transforming into a game, you need to sort of go outside of that bubble. So, yeah. Unfortunately, this one apparently is maybe not going to live up to what we can expect. But I did want to point it out because I think a lot of people will be attracted by this game. And I'd rather you give my take on the trailer. And also, like I said, I respect Alex over at Switch Corner a ton. That doesn't mean I agree 100% all the time on all games, but if I listen to his comments about the game, I think I do think as an objective review of the game, probably a lot of people are going to feel the same about it. Now, next we have one that I'm very on the fence about, but I wanted to take a look with you guys to get your take on it. And this is My Lovely Empress, also coming out on the 21st, so Wednesday. Now, don't worry, this isn't a HENTAI game. My Lovely Empress. At first, when I saw the title, I was like, oh no, another one of those. But no, it doesn't, it's not like that. So let's take a look. Yeah, I was getting the Three Kingdoms vibes too. So it's actually a management game. Okay, so I wasn't expecting this when I saw the overview of the game, like just the visual art style. The visual art style is what drew me in. I really liked the art style for the characters and everything. But once again, I'm very on the fence about this one because the gameplay can go both ways. It can be a really great management game, Three Kingdoms style, and be very deep. It can also go too deep for some people because I think Three Kingdoms puts a lot of people off because it's so Eastern philosophy and the decisions you need to make that sometimes it's a little hard from a Western perspective to get a grasp on it. But at the same time, I'm really interested in checking out a few reviews for this one. I'll be honest, I will not have time to review this one this week because I have a lot of other games that I'm working on right now to finish that I need to review because they will be games that I definitely want to put time into. But I do think that if you're into management sims, once again, maybe keep an eye out on this one. Check out a review if you can. It does look like a possibly interesting game for this week. So, My Lovely Empress coming August 21st. I forgot the prices so far on the games, by the way. Stumble Guys was free. However, Mika and the Witch's Mountain was $19.99, by the way. There was a sale for $16.99. I don't know if it's over yet, though. But at $20 for Mika and the Witch's Mountain, with the reviews it got, I would hold off. My Lovely Empress is coming in at $16.99. So, My Lovely Empress, like I said, for $17, check out a review. It's a lot to ask for a new IP like this, and that we don't quite know a lot about how the game's going to play out. Let's jump into another game, also on the 21st, Cyber Mission for $9.99. Now, I'll be honest, I wanted to look at this one sort of as a half warning, half like it could still be good, okay? But I do think that the way they're presenting the game is a little bit... I don't want to say the word false advertising, because if you watch the trailer, you clearly see what the game is. But they present it as a run-and-gun shooter meets a shoot-'em-up, but it's pretty much just a shoot-'em-up. We'll look at the gameplay. You'll see what I mean. What I mean when we look at it. But let's take a look, and you'll get exactly what I mean. We'll talk about it after. So, Cyber Mission coming out on the 21st, selling for $9.99.
Ready to go down to hell. Let's do it.
Don't worry, Marte. Trust me. You'll see that my opinions are along that line as well.
It is not advisable to drink water directly from the sewer.
Okie doke. I don't think we got anything else. No. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Number one, what got me to watch the trailer, and sometimes I want to do this because we're talking about the new Switch games, but we're not only going to look at automatically the good games. For me, it's a pass as well, and I'll explain to you why. Number one, I don't like the fact that they describe the game as a run-and-gun shooter meets a shoot-'em-up, because it is just a shoot-'em-up. All they did was they changed the sprite from a spaceship to a guy. And there's been other games like this that have come out, in the past, you know, where you are playing a what's the game with the where you're playing like an angel shoot 'em up as well, by this very same company that made it, Gainug. Like if you look at Gainug, it's basically the exact same. Gainug is G, I think it's G Y. Yeah, Gainug. Like it's the exact same concept. It's just basically you're a guy floating in space. So it has nothing to do with a run and gun shooter. It's a shoot 'em up. And the thing is, on the Switch, we have so many shoot 'em ups that I can name easily a dozen shoot 'em ups. Name might be a big word because I have trouble with titles, but there are easily a dozen shoot 'em ups that are better than this at the same or a lower price. So yeah, exactly. Any which one of the Cotton games are most likely going to be better than this one. So this is sort of like a warning against this one. If they would have made a really interesting hybrid concept between a run and gun shooter and a shoot 'em up, then I could give this game, be like, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. But it's basically just a shoot 'em up, and it doesn't even look like a really good one. Someone pointed it out. The gameplay looks slow. The graphics are unimpressive for me. Like the cutscenes, the pixel art during the couple of cutscenes that they showed is beautiful, but the actual pixel art during the gameplay, not very impressive. And I don't know for you guys, but even though we saw a couple of different weapons during the trailer, none of them make me feel particularly excited to try out the game and like, oh my god, that weapon looks cool or something like that. So personally, this is sort of like a warning for this game. If you're really hurting for a new shoot 'em up and you really like the idea of being a dude floating in space rather than a spaceship, sure, go for it. But personally, I would wait. Maybe if it's $2 at one point, try it then. But there are way better shoot 'em ups. If you don't know which ones, just check out best shoot 'em ups. I think I even have a video with the best shoot 'em ups that you can get on the Switch, and there are easily in my list of top 10. I'm pretty sure there's at least 4 or 5 that are under $10. So you're just better off with any of those. Okay. And you have some with way more original concepts than this one. So just watch out for Cyber Mission on the 21st. And I found that when you look at the still images, they try to make it look like you're a run and gun shooter at one point when you're not.
That's why Bridgestone.
But yeah. Next, we have White Eternal, also hitting on the 21st. White Eternal is going to be selling for $6.49. Once again, I'll be honest, it's going to be a reoccurring concept this week. A lot of games are really hard to figure out. By figure out, I mean that sometimes you can really tell right away if a game looks good or not. Doesn't mean it is, because you need to play it first to decide. But this week, a lot of the games are like, oh, it could go either way. But this one, it all depends on the quality of the gameplay. Yeah, it gives a Harry Potter feeling-ish. Now, this is what really scares me, is the combat. The combat looks stiff and clunky. Yeah. It's too bad because the art style looks interesting. The basic concept of the game looks fun, but the combat to me looks very iffy. Yeah, it looks turn-based, and it doesn't seem like the attacks are animated. Like, it puts a circle around your character, you get damage, but they pretty much, like, at least from what we saw in the trailer, all the attacks look the same. They shout out a different name, like a different name flashes on the screen, but then the actual effect of the attack looks the same. The only thing is, it is only the game that's being sold for $6.49. So, you can maybe get surprised. But quickly like that, especially after I just played Minami Lane, which for $5 gave me an amazing experience, I am very, very cautious about this one, would be the word. Once again, wait for a couple of reviews. I'm most likely not going to be one of the people reviewing it. Same reason as previously. I just won't have time for this one, and it's too much of a risk factor that I'm going to put 4 or 5 hours into the game. I have no problem doing a bad review, by the way. It's just that I purposely, nonetheless, try to put my time into games that are interesting to talk about, either at the total... Like, I would like to review a game that looks really good that ends up not good. That, to me, is interesting. This one already gives you the idea that it's iffy. If it turns out to be iffy, it's just pretty much what we expected. Okay, now we're moving to the 22nd. As per my last email. Now this one, once again, I'm really having trouble figuring out what exactly is the point of the game. It's a physics-based game, and it sells for $6.29. Let's take a quick look. The trailer's not very long. My problem with the trailer is it doesn't really tell you what the point of the game is. Yeah, but like, are you trying to get a certain number of points before the timer runs out? Yeah, actually, I think I just saw here. Yeah, the music is good. I just saw here, you do have like an objective here at the top. So like he's at 12,000 points out of like, I think it's 85,000. So I think the only point of the game is to figure out what you need to smash to hit the point target within the time limit. I'm just like so weirded out in the sense that, is this all it is? I think it is. So personally, once again, most likely a pass for me. I just wanted to show it nonetheless because maybe for someone who really hates their job and needs to like pretend that you're smashing up your office, might feel good. You never know. Might feel good. And at least it's only $6.29. I agree, would get really old for me. I don't need a game like this right now. I have too many like well-developed games to play, if you will. But yeah, that's what we're getting this week. Like I said, it's like Office Space, the Smash Edition. Exactly. You're right. That's probably what triggered in my brain to be like, hey, this looks like something I know, Office Space. Okay. Next, we have one that Argol, Kronoss's Castle, that is releasing also on the 22nd, will be selling for $8.99. Another game that had me super interested, but the combat looks extremely stiff. And it sort of has me, once again, questioning if this game is going to be a good experience. I know I'm saying it a lot. This one I might try. This one I might try because it's enough up my alley. where I want to know if it actually just looks stiff, but in the end plays decent. Sort of like Abator. If you guys did not watch my review on Abator, at first when I saw that game, I was like, this game looks so stiff. I'm not sure it's going to play fun. And it ended up playing great. Tons of fun. But Kronoss' Castle, I'm wondering about the same thing, except I have less hope than I did for Abator. Let's look at the trailer. You'll see what I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. See, the combat looks stiff, but it could still work well if the animations are stiff, but the controls are responsive. And the bosses have interesting designs. Like this one I might actually try. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm getting Altered Beast vibes. The sound captures when she does the moves, though, could become annoying. Like the little scream she does with the sidekick. Yeah, this one, like I said, this one I think is probably going to be one I'm going to be trying to check out towards the end of the week. It has enough potential to go both ways. And I do think it's going to be like... This is what I mean by a game that, like, there's enough potential for it to be good, but it's also could be really bad. And in this case, it's really important that people know it's bad if it is, because it visually, it can give you the idea that like, oh, this is going to be cool. It's a really cool 2D action platformer. Then you try it and you're like, ugh, maybe not. Or the opposite. Game looks stiff. I'm not sure it's going to be good. And then because the system, you know, the gameplay system works out well, the stiffness doesn't actually matter. Exactly. Well, that's why I'm here, to try and give you guys the perspective when I can. I wish I had time to play all the games, to be honest. I wish I... And you know what? If some of these go on sale, I'll probably eventually try them if they go heavy enough on sale. Okay, let's move to the 22nd. We have 3 games left, okay? There were a lot this week, but all very like... This next one, though, is maybe the one that has the highest potential of being something good. It is Verne, The Shape of Fantasy. It is coming out on the 22nd as well, and it is going to be selling for $14.99.
Red Bull. D'abord la bague pour la demoiselle, ensuite les ailes.
Red Bull donne des ailes.
Yeah, we're getting the French commercials.
What's this? The gift of Placeia will help you to change pieces of the world, only if your imagination is as brilliant as her flame.
So it's around Jules Verne, by the way.
Where am I? What the hell is going on?
The end of the nation is very close, Verne.
Let's take the artifact and forge a new world. Are you with me, brothers?
What do you fancy more? A A quick death beneath the sea or a long life of tortures at one of the nation's penitentiary mines? Move!
Someone around here has told me a story about you facing the bloody raven. I must get out of here.
Nadine, we must emerge.
It's amazingly terrifying.
Enough! I don't want to hear you anymore!
All of us are marked with brutal scars, but you?
Somebody more centered? Somebody like you, with your hallucinations?
Here again? Did this artifact do it?
So I do think this is going to be... It obviously looks like a very narrative-driven journey. And it says it right here. Research for the narrative-driven adventure game. Become Jules Verne and embark on a perilous adventure into Hemera, a fantastic parallel world built from Verne's imagination. Explore a strange new world, solve puzzles, and unlock the most coveted secret of mighty Atlantis. Verne is now available on PC via Steam, GOG, and it'll be coming out... That's what I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it plays as a point and click. I did not have time to check out reviews on Steam for it, but I do think that whether it's a point and click or not, is not going to change someone's decision on this game, in the sense that it looks like a puzzle adventure game. If we look, there didn't seem to be much action. It really is puzzle driven. So whether you're pointing and clicking or controlling it for a puzzle game like that, not going to change much. But to me, it looks good. I'm also a fan of Jules Verne. I like a lot of I like the world that are created from his different, the different books he wrote. So there's a high potential here for this game to be really good. Am I going to play it on release? Most likely not, however. Just because in general, any narrative-driven game it's hard to review without giving away... What I realized is narrative-driven games are very hard to review without ruining any type of... Without spoilers, basically. And without spoilers, you can't really explain how the game plays out. So, other than saying, oh yeah, it's good because the story's good. That's what it ends up being. I know it's sort of weird to say, but it's like a narrative-driven game is very hard. I'd rather cover it in eShop deals and just say, yes, the game has a great written story. The point-and-click puzzles are good. If not, that's basically what the review turns out to be without doing it spoilerish. That is the problem with narrative-driven games, is that without sort of explaining stuff and becoming a spoilery, every review turns out to sound exactly the same. Oh, the characters are well written, the game is good, and blah, blah, blah. If I had time to do 25 reviews a week, I would do all of these as well, because it doesn't matter at that point that you have some that are repetitive. But for the moment, I'm trying to focus on games that, it's fun to review, it's fun to talk about. But yeah, I do think, however, this is going to be one of the really good games this week. The next game, we're actually not going to watch the trailer. It's more like, hey guys, it's because we talked about it last week. They're coming out with a Sam & Max The Complete Trilogy for $45. This one's releasing on August 23rd. It's going to be selling for $45. This is just the eShop listing page. It has the Devil's Playhouse that we looked at last week. But if you did want to get into the Sam & Max series all at once, this would be the time to pick up the complete trilogy. However, I would say you could also wait for a sale, because I do have a feeling that this, on Black Friday, you're going to be able to get easy 30 to 40% off, if not more. So if you've been waiting for the Sam & Max games and you're not aching to pick them up, it's really fun that they came out with a trilogy pack. And what that means is that I'm pretty sure Black Friday, we're going to be able to pick up this pack for really cheap. Okay? They're really good point-and-click, fun games, narrative-driven. Okay? But I would say that It's fun that they're doing a 3-pack, so this is the cheapest way to get them all at once if you don't have any of the games yet. However, if you are looking at getting all of the games, I would wait for a sale on it, because a triple pack like this means that their most like next move is a big sale on the triple pack. Okay, so that was just like a heads up. And our last game for this week is going to be Shadowblade Night Symphony, coming out on the 25th. And this one, I could not find a trailer on YouTube, but it is directly on the Nintendo Switch, on the Nintendo site. So we're going to watch the trailer on the Nintendo site. And once again, I am like, oh my god, this could be so good. But oh my god, this could also be so wonky and bad. It is going to be selling for $9.99, releasing on the 25th, as I said. Let's take a look at the trailer. There's some really awesome art styles like this. Okay, so once again, trailer is not very long, but this one, once again, could be really great or really bad. It's, what's the name of that Cyber Ninja running game? That's the game that came to mind when I saw this. It's the one that it runs. It came out on all the consoles, and it graphically it's really weak on the Switch. They came up with a second one. It hasn't even been ported to the Switch. It's not Cyber Ninja. But it's a first-person runner like this, and you have to do parkour. You're a ninja as well. You basically jump to like a cyber ninja. What's the title? Oh, God, I hate this. But basically, that's the vibe the game is giving to me. Ghost Runner. Thank you. Ghost Runner is the one I was looking for. So yeah, it looks like Ghost Runner, but done with a much more retro style. Most likely so it can run well on the Switch. The only thing is that some of the parts looked a little bit wonky. Some of the physics looked a little wonky. Like, it didn't look as clean as Ghost Runner does or whatnot. But this one, I would say, has a decent potential. However, once again, this one I will be trying to pick up as well. Like I said, I try to target 2 games a week, and I find that these are the 2 that have the highest potential to pay off. Is Argol, Kronoss' Castle, and Shadowblade. Because if both these games turn out to be good, I think a lot of people will be interested in them. And if they turn out to be bad, well, I just saved you some money. You know what? That's like my perspective on these 2. So these are the 2 games I am going to try to pick up. And hopefully I'll have time to review them both, unless I get slammed with something else as usual. But that is it for the upcoming games for this week. Now, as I say every week, this is not a comprehensive list. There are other games coming out this week, but I skipped what I would consider to be the games that I think are definite trash. Trash or just uninteresting. Sorry, I don't want to be insulting to the developers of all the games out there, because it's not necessarily trash. But to me, that seem uninteresting, that look like eShop fodder or look exactly like other games out there, and that I feel that I don't need to give a warning about, because the other games that were there, they look enough like games that most people watching the channel here already know probably, yeah, I need to wait for a review on this one or just not pick it up.